Hi, in this video we're going to be looking at a task card for part 2 of the IELTS speaking test. We'll actually be thinking about how we're going through the planning stage for a specific task card. Now, the task card we're looking at is this one. It's asking us to describe a website that we've bought something from. What I'll do is think about the task card and exactly what it's asking us, and we'll go through this planning stage, coming up with at least one idea for each of those cues you can see on the task card. And then after we've thought of at least one key idea for each of the cues, we'll then move on to think about maybe some extra vocabulary and phrases that we can use for each of those ideas. This, I think, is quite realistic to be able to do in that 1 minute preparation time if you practice going through this process. And hopefully you'll find this video quite useful to give you some inspiration for your own ideas that can fit with the task card that we're looking at today. Anyway, let's start looking at the task card and thinking about exactly what each of those cues are asking us and what our idea would be for each of the cues as well. So, of course, it's asking us to describe a website, and so a website that we've bought something from in the past. This is quite a nice task card to get, really, because, of course, we're going to be describing a website that exists now. So we're using the present tenses to describe the website, but also it's a website that you bought something from in the past. So we're going to be using the past tenses as well. So this is a kind of task card that helps us to show off some grammatical range already. Now, if we're thinking about the first cue and how we would answer that, well, this is the idea that would match with the whole topic task card, which is what the website is. Well, yes, we've got to think of that website, and that's the first thing that you've got to do when you're in the test and you get this task card. You've got to quickly come up with that idea. And really, this kind of preparation that we're doing now can help you to come up with ideas quickly when you're in that test situation. Now, my personal idea for this would be the website Amazon, Amazon.com. Now, this is a very, very well-known website where you can buy lots and lots of different things from. Now, I would write down just that one key word in my notes, Amazon. And of course, I would have to go into more detail after that, explaining what the website is. But we've got that key idea down straight away so we can focus our speaking on that website. Now, of course, we've got the second cue there, which says what you bought from this website. So we've got to think about, what is it? What's this thing that we bought? And again, for my personal idea would be a pair of trainers or running shoes. And I'd write that down. Of course, I could think of many different things maybe that I've bought from this website, but you've got to choose one, and one that you think you could talk about quite a lot and go into a bit of detail on. And this is the one that comes to my mind straight away that I could speak quite a lot about. So we've written down that keyword there to remind us of what to talk about. Then the next cue asks us how satisfied we were with what we bought. Now, of course, here, really all we have to do is say how satisfied we are. So probably some kind of adverb to start with. So I would write down maybe really pleased. Of course, the word really, saying how satisfied we are, and a synonym of satisfied, just to make sure we use a different word to what is on the task card. Really pleased. And of course, we can go into more detail on that when we're speaking and in our full answer. But just having that key idea to start with is, well, a good place to begin. Then we've got the final cue, which is explain what you liked or disliked about using the website. Now, of course, it would be good to have an idea really for something we like and something we don't like about using the website. So I would write down two things here. One, I would say the thing I liked is the fast delivery. It came very, very quickly. But also one thing I might not like about using this website is the stories I hear about the way they treat their staff. So I might write down treatment of staff and then, of course, go into a bit more detail on that. But there we go. So I've got down, I've written down 4 ideas there, or really 5 because we've got 2 ideas for the last cue. But we've got the key ideas there for each of those cues. And of course, when you're speaking, you're going to have to go into a bit more detail. And also, if you've got more time in the test, after you've written down those 4 main ideas, what you can do is think of some kind of words and phrases that you could use when you're going into more detail on each of those ideas that are going to impress the examiner a bit. And this is realistic to be able to do because, well, if you practice this process a lot, getting down those 4 ideas, 1 idea for each of the cues, is not going to take that long, especially if you prepared something before that fits with the task card that you get. So if we think now for each of those ideas, some words and kind of phrases that maybe we could use to impress the examiner a bit. So if we think about that first one there, which is the website, Amazon. Okay, and we're going to go into more detail describing it, of course, but thinking of maybe a phrase that we can use to describe that website initially, and that would be a huge online retailer. There's nothing that impressive there, but of course a bit of less common vocabulary. The word huge, meaning very, very big, and of course it is. And online retailer, just describing what type of website it is. A retailer, a shop, a website that sells things online. So I'd get that down there and then move on to the next idea, which was the trainers or the running shoes. Now, here I feel like we could write down maybe a bit of idiomatic language that fits with this idea and what we're going to be talking about. Because of course, I got these trainers from the website, and actually the reason why I bought them online is because they were difficult to find in the shops near where I lived. So I felt like, well, the only way I was going to get them was by going online and looking on Amazon and finding them there. So I can use a phrase that shows that they were difficult to find, and an idiomatic phrase. This phrase here, hard to come by. This just means they were difficult to find. So again, something that's going to impress the examiner a little bit using this kind of idiomatic language there. Then I can move on to the third idea. Now, of course, there I was kind of describing how satisfied I was. And I've said, well, initially the first thing, really pleased. But again, I can go into more detail on why I was really pleased. Now, of course, when you order shoes or clothes online, you're never quite sure whether it's going to be the right size or the right color. So I might write down the adjective apprehensive. Now, this means you're a bit unsure, right? You're a bit kind of worried about what's going to turn up in the post. And also, of course, when it did turn up and it was the right size, or the shoes, the pair of shoes were the right size, I felt relieved. So I might write down these 2 adjectives, apprehensive and relieved, just to make sure I'm going to be describing these feelings and describing, you know, why I had those feelings as well, and going into more detail. So we've got those 2 extra words there. Some nice kind of less common adjectives, I guess, that are going to impress the examiner a bit. Then we'd move on to that 4th and final idea for, well, what we liked and what we disliked. Firstly, it was the fast delivery. Just thinking of maybe an extra word that we could use there to describe the fast delivery. A synonym of fast in this context might be the word speedy. We could use that as an adjective. And then maybe if we're describing the treatment of staff, we could say that, well, maybe some people think the staff at Amazon are taken advantage of a little by the owner of Amazon. So using that phrase as well. Taken advantage of. Here also we're making sure we can slip in a bit of the use of passive voice as well, which hopefully is going to impress the examiner when we use it in our full answer. So there we have it. You see we've got kind of 4 clear ideas there, and then some vocabulary to kind of match together with those ideas and things that we can use to impress the examiner when we're speaking. And of course, if we get it stuck at any stage when we're speaking, we can look down at our notes, and these notes will remind us of what we want to say. So there's the planning stage, and hopefully that's helped you think about, well, how you would plan your answer for this task card. In the next video, we're going to give the full answer following this plan. Now, you could think about your own answer before next week's video where I'll be showing you this answer. But there we go. Hopefully this was useful for you. And if it was, then do remember to click the like button. And if you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any similar videos in the future. There we go. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you again in the next video.